You can have $2 million saved and still pay almost nothing for health insurance before 65. I know how that sounds. It sounds impossible or like some kind of loophole, but it's actually neither. It comes down to a single number, and that number is not your net worth. For most people, the scariest thing about retiring early isn't running out of money, it's the gap. You leave your job before 65, your employer coverage disappears, and Medicare hasn't started yet. So you're staring at a 5, 6, maybe 10-year period of buying your own health insurance. And you've heard of the horror stories, couples paying $2,000, $3,000 a month. That fear keeps people chained to a job they're otherwise ready to leave. I'm Justin Kuntz, Managing Director and Certified Financial Planner here at Pacific Wealth Management in San Diego. And I help high net worth families retire early and pay less in tax. And I want to show you why early retirement healthcare is not a wealth problem, it's an income problem. Once you understand that one shift, you can stop worrying about it because it comes down to something that you can plan for instead of something you fear. So let's start with the gap. If you retire at 60, you've got 5 years until Medicare kicks in at 65. And in that window, you've really got 3 options. It's worth understanding each of them. Option 1, COBRA. You keep your employer plan for up to 18 months. It works, but now you're paying the full premium yourself, and 18 months doesn't cover a 5-year gap. Option 2 is getting on your spouse's plan, if one of you is still working. And option 3, the one that most early retirees end up using, is buying a plan on the Affordable Care Act marketplace. Now here's where everyone assumes they're stuck. They figure, I've got a couple $1 million, there's no way I qualify for any help on the marketplace. That's people with low incomes, not people like me. And that assumption right there is the single most expensive misunderstanding in the early retirement planning phase. Because the marketplace doesn't care how much money you have, it cares about something completely different. Here's the lever. The cost of an ACA plan, specifically the subsidy that lowers your premium, is based upon your modified adjusted gross income. Your taxable income for that year, essentially. Not your net worth, not your account balances, your income alone. See, this is the thing that almost nobody connects with. In early retirement, a high net worth household can have very low taxable income. Think about it. You're not drawing a salary anymore, so where does your spending money come from? It can come from cash, it can come from selling investments in your brokerage account, where the only gain is taxable, not the whole withdrawal. Or it can come from your Roth, which is completely tax-free. You can fund a very comfortable lifestyle while showing the IRS a modest income on paper. So picture a couple, both 60 years old with $2 million saved or so, who needs about $90,000 a year to live. If they pull mostly from cash and brokerage, their actual taxable income might land in the 50 to 60K range. And at that income, in most states, they qualify for substantial ACA subsidies. And their health insurance can drop from that scary $2,000 a month number to a few $100s a month, sometimes less. Same wealth, same lifestyle, a fraction of the cost. The only thing that's changed are which accounts the money comes from at different times. And to put real numbers on it, a 60-year-old couple buying a mid-tier marketplace plan at a full price might be looking at $1,800 to $2,400 a month. Move their reported income into that subsidy range, and that same coverage can drop to a few $100s a month. And with careful income targeting, sometimes close to nothing. So that's a swing of almost 20 grand a year or more for identical insurance decided entirely by which accounts they drew from at the time. It's pretty amazing. And that's why it's worth getting it right. So that's the lever. And once you see it, healthcare stops being a wall and starts being a dial you can control. But, and this is important, that same dial is connected to other things in your plan. And that's really where the trap comes in. It's the part that separates a good plan from an expensive mistake. The same income number that controls your health insurance subsidy also controls your taxes. So the moves that help one can quietly wreck the other. Let me show you what I mean. In early retirement, the smartest long-term tax move is often to convert pre-tax money to a Roth while your income is low. But a Roth conversion is taxable income, so that year you do a big conversion, you spike your modified adjusted gross income, and that spike can blow right through an ACA subsidy threshold and cost you thousands in lost healthcare subsidies. The exact same is true if you sell a concentrated stock position or realize a big capital gain. And this is the connection most people, and honestly a lot of advisors, frankly, completely miss. You've got two strategies that are both correct on their own, get the ACA subsidy and do Roth conversions, but they're fighting each other for the same number. Push your income down for cheap healthcare and give up conversion room. Push it up to convert and you lose the subsidy. You can't really max out both in the same year, and the whole game is deciding which one in which year makes the most sense. Maybe you take a subsidy between 60 to 63, then convert from 64 to 65 once you're moving to Medicare anyways. And that's why I say this is something that you plan, not something that you fear. The gap is real, but it's controllable as long as you're coordinating the income across healthcare, taxes, conversions, instead of treating them like three separate problems. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Isn't this gaming the system? I've got a couple $1,000,000. Should I really be taking a subsidy? It's a fair thing to ask, and let me be straight about it. There's nothing improper here. The marketplace rules are written around income on purpose, and choosing which of your own accounts to spend from in a given year is completely legal. Ordinary tax planning. You're not hiding income, you're sequencing your withdrawals, the same way you would for any other tax reason. The one thing you do have to watch though is lumpy income. So if you've got a big stock vest landing, a business sale, or a large capital gain in a particular year, that income shows up and can push you out of the subsidy range no matter what else you do. So in those years, the plan changes. You might not target the subsidy at all, and instead use that high income year to do something else productive, like a larger Roth conversion. The point is that you're making the call on purpose year over year with your eyes wide open. That's planning, not gaming. This works beautifully for people who have a good chunk of money in cash, brokerage accounts, and Roth accounts, because those are buckets that let you control your taxable income. If almost everything you have is in a pre-tax 401k plan, you've got less room to maneuver, less cards to play, because every dollar you pull is fully taxable. That's still workable, it just takes a little bit more planning. And to be clear, this is about legally managing which accounts you draw from to control your income, not hiding anything. It's the same reason a fiduciary plan looks at your whole picture, not just your investments alone. But the headline holds. For most high earners and early retirees, health insurance before 65 is not the budget buster they think it is. It's a number that you can steer. And one more thing worth saying. This is a yearly decision, not a set it and forget it one. Your income target in your first year of retirement might look completely different from your target at 63 or 64, as Medicare and conversions come into the picture. That coordination is the whole game, and it's the part that genuinely is hard to do on your own. If you're planning to retire before 65 and you want to map out exactly how to bridge those years, coordinating your healthcare, your conversions, and your taxes together, that's the kind of thing we do at Pacific Wealth Management. We're a fiduciary firm, so a first conversation comes with no obligation and no pressure, and you'll walk away with a clearer picture of your gap years, even if we never work together. There's a link in the description below to get started. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.